Most people don't realize how powerful a budget really is. They think budgeting is just about restricting your spending, but that's wrong. A real budget gives you permission to spend with purpose. It tells your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. The truth is, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, it's not always about income. It's about a lack of control. You can't win with money if you don't even know what your money is doing. The budget is your blueprint. It's your weapon. It's your plan for taking ground in a war against financial chaos. When you sit down with your paycheck before you spend a dime and give every dollar an assignment, something shifts. You stop reacting to life and start taking charge. Every coffee, every grocery trip, every bill, every little purchase that normally flies under the radar, or it all becomes part of the plan, you start to see patterns. You start to see leaks, and once you see them, you can plug them. You're not cutting out joy, you're cutting out the waste that's been stealing your future. People love to say, I don't make enough to budget. No, you can't afford asterisk not asterisk 2. It doesn't matter if you bring home $1, 0, 0, 0, or $10, 0, 0, 0 a month. If you don't tell your money what to do, it will leave fast. And when it leaves without a plan, you end up back where you started, broke, frustrated, and wondering what went wrong. But if you build the habit of budgeting before the month begins, before the chaos hits, you gain traction, you gain power, and you start to feel something new: peace. The first budget won't be perfect. It'll feel clunky, you'll forget something, you'll overspend, but don't quit. Keep showing up. The routine matters more than the perfection. You get better with each pass. You start to anticipate expenses. You begin thinking long term, and once you've done it for a couple of months, you realize budgeting isn't about math, it's about mindset. It's about discipline. It's about being sick and tired of being sick and tired. The budget forces you to look at reality, and that's the first step to changing it. No more guessing, no more hiding from the numbers. It brings everything into the light. You'll see where the money is leaking, and you'll finally have the power to stop it. You'll see how much debt is eating your paycheck. You'll see how much you spend on stuff you don't even remember buying. And in that awareness, in that clarity, you gain control. That control is everything. Because when you're in control, you can plan. When you can plan, you can save. When you save, you build margin. And when you have margin, you have options. You start to see a future that looks a whole lot better than just surviving until Friday. You start living on purpose, not just on autopilot. Debt is the silent killer of financial peace. It creeps in with promises of convenience and flexibility, and before you know it, your paycheck is already spoken for before it even hits your account. Credit cards, car loans, personal loans, buy now. Pay later schemes, they all have one thing in common. They steal your future to make you feel comfortable today, but comfort built on borrowed money is a lie. Every time you swipe that card or sign that loan, you're trading your freedom for stuff that won't matter a year from now. People justify debt by calling it normal, but normal is broke, stressed out, and drowning in payments. Normal is owing everyone Visa, MasterCard, the bank, your cousin, your landlord. It's living in a cycle where you work hard every day but never get ahead. Why? Because your income is already chained to someone else's pocket. That's not freedom, that's slavery with a better marketing team. The system is designed to keep you just comfortable enough not to fight back, but if you want to escape poverty, you've got to get mad at debt. You have to see it for what it is, a thief that robs you of options, peace, and power. You don't get wealthy by making payments. You don't build security by owing everyone in town. The first step is drawing a line in the sand and saying, no more. No more swiping. No more borrowing. No more excuses. The goal is not to manage your debt. The goal is to destroy it. You've got to get intense, sell stuff, work extra, cut your lifestyle to the bone. Every dollar that doesn't go towards survival needs to be thrown at the smallest debt. Knock it out. Then move to the next one, build momentum, let the victories fuel your fire. This is not about math, it's about emotion. If it were just about interest rates and logic, everyone would be out of debt already. But people stay in debt because they've accepted it as part of life. It's time to break up with that mindset. You can't be comfortable and free at the same time. Sacrifice now so you can win later. Pay the price today so you don't have to keep paying interest for the rest of your life. That car payment that feels so normal, it's stealing your retirement. That credit card balance that everyone has, it's the reason you can't sleep at night. You deserve more than a life of constant stress and fear every time an unexpected expense shows up. You deserve margin. You deserve the ability to say yes to opportunities without checking your bank app first. But you'll never have that if you keep dragging the chains of debt behind you. It's not just about the money, it's about reclaiming your future. And you won't do that with one foot still stuck in a trap. Burn the ships, cut the cord. Decide right now that your future is too valuable to rent out to lenders. The more complicated your financial life is, the harder it is to control. When your money is scattered across 5 different apps, 3 bank accounts, a drawer full of receipts, and a dozen random subscriptions, no wonder you feel overwhelmed. Simplicity is power. Automation is freedom. Domination starts with structure. If you want to stop living paycheck to paycheck, you've got to create a routine that runs smoother than your stress. Your system has to work even when you're tired, even when life gets messy. That's where automation comes in. It turns discipline into default. Start with your income. The day your paycheck hits, it should already know where it's going. You shouldn't have to scramble to remember if the rent is due or whether you paid the electric bill. Set up automatic transfers to savings. Schedule your debt payments. Let the system do the heavy lifting so you can stay focused on the big picture. When your bills, savings, and debt payments are automated, you remove the temptation to spend impulsively. You take emotion out of the equation and replace it with intention. Then simplify. You don't need 5 checking accounts. You don't need 7 budgeting apps. You need one clear method that works. Use a zero-based budget. Give every single dollar a job before the month starts. If you're using cash envelopes or digital envelopes, stick with it. If you're using a spreadsheet, master it. The tool doesn't matter as much as your consistency. Make it easy to track. Make it impossible to ignore. Financial clarity comes from repetition and visibility. Cancel what you don't use. Subscriptions, memberships, and little charges that trickle out of your account, each month they add up. You don't even feel them until you look back and see hundreds of dollars leaking out for things you barely use. That's money that could be going to your emergency fund, to your future. Prune your financial life like a garden. Keep what grows value, cut what drains it. Daily routines matter too. Check your account balance every morning. Spend 5 minutes reviewing your plan. This isn't obsession, this is ownership. You can't afford to set it and forget it when you're trying to break out of a cycle. Track your wins, celebrate progress. Even a $20 savings boost is proof that your system is working. That's how momentum builds, not in giant leaps, but in steady, intentional steps. The routine becomes your foundation. When life throws you a curveball, and it will, your system catches it. You won't panic when the car breaks down or a medical bill hits, because your automated savings already anticipated the blow. You don't have to make perfect decisions in the heat of the moment, because you already made smart ones in advance. That's how you dominate your finances, not through willpower, but through a system that works harder than you do every single day. Progress with money doesn't come from one big leap. It comes from a series of small, consistent wins that build confidence and momentum. Most people try to change everything all at once, and when they can't keep up, they give up. But real change starts with one victory, one budget that works, one debt paid off, 1 week without overspending. It might not seem like much, but that small win is proof that change is possible. And once you taste progress, even a little bit, it fuels the belief that you can go further. That belief is everything. Small wins create a shift in mindset. You go from saying, "I can't do this," to "I just did that." And when that shift happens, your identity starts to change. You no longer see yourself as someone who's always broke or always behind. You start seeing yourself as someone who is capable, responsible, and in control. That's powerful because your identity drives your behavior. When you believe you're someone who follows through, you start to follow through more often. The cycle feeds itself in a good way. It might start with something simple, making a meal plan to avoid takeout, canceling one unnecessary subscription, putting $50 toward your smallest debt. Celebrate those moves. Don't brush them off as just a little thing. That little thing is the spark. You're not just saving money, you're building habits, discipline, and resilience. And when life gets hard, because it will, those small wins remind you that you've done hard things before and you can do them again. One of the biggest lies poverty tells you is that your effort doesn't matter, that no matter what you do, you'll still be stuck. That's false. The system may be rigged in some ways, and the odds might not always be fair, but your effort absolutely makes a difference. Every win, no matter how small, is a brick in the foundation of your financial future. Stack enough bricks, and you'll have a fortress no paycheck lifestyle can tear down. Momentum also helps you stay motivated through the boring parts. Financial change isn't always exciting. It's not always dramatic. A lot of the time, it's repetitive. It's showing up and doing the right thing even when no one notices. But those routines are what create real, lasting transformation. And when you look back months from now and realize how far you've come, it won't be because of one big moment. It'll be because you kept stacking small wins. As those wins accumulate, they begin to compound. You pay off one debt, and that frees up money to attack the next one. You build a $1 emergency fund, and suddenly that unexpected car repair doesn't take you out. You gain breathing room, you feel less anxious, and for the first time in a long time you feel hope. That's the fuel. That's what keeps you moving forward, knowing that progress is possible and that your next win is always within reach. When you're trying to break free from living paycheck to paycheck, one of the most powerful things you can do is get brutally honest about your spending. That means drawing a hard line between what you need and what you want, not what feels like a need, not what looks like a need on Instagram. A real need: food, shelter, utilities, transportation, and basic clothing. Everything else is optional. That truth is uncomfortable, especially in a world that constantly sells you the idea that you deserve every convenience and luxury right now, no matter what your financial reality looks like. But comfort is expensive, and too often it's paid for with your future. That daily coffee run, the upgraded phone, the streaming services, the new clothes for an event you'll attend once they all add up. And when your income is already stretched, those little expenses are the difference between moving forward and staying stuck. They don't just cost you money, they cost you peace of mind, options, and momentum. That's the hidden price of wants disguised as needs. Getting serious about your goals means making temporary sacrifices for long-term gain. It means asking hard questions. Do I need to eat out tonight, or do I just not feel like cooking? Do I need that new gadget, or am I just bored? Every dollar you spend has a job, and when you assign it to things that don't truly matter, you're delaying your freedom. You're extending your time in the paycheck cycle. That cycle won't break until you make different choices, uncomfortable ones. This isn't about guilt, it's about clarity. When you clearly define what matters most, it gets easier to say no to what doesn't. And when you stop wasting money on things you don't need, you can finally start funding the things that matter, paying off debt, building savings, investing in your future. That's where real satisfaction comes from. Not from another delivery box on your doorstep, but from knowing your bills are paid, your savings is growing, and your stress is shrinking. You can't out-earn bad habits. Even if your income goes up, if your spending goes with it, you're still stuck. That's lifestyle inflation, and it's one of the biggest traps that keeps people broke even as they make more money. The way to escape it is by mastering contentment, gratitude for what you have. Focus on what you truly need. Discipline to delay gratification. These aren't just financial skills, they're life skills. If you want to win with money, you have to be willing to live differently. That means cutting out the excess and living lean for a season. It's not punishment, it's a strategy. You're not saying no forever. You're saying no asterisk for now asterisk, so you can say yes to more important things later. That kind of clarity builds confidence, and that confidence builds freedom. And freedom is worth every sacrifice. There comes a point where enough is enough. You get sick and tired of watching your paycheck disappear before the month is over. You get tired of the overdraft fees, the minimum payments, the constant juggling act. You start to realize this isn't just about money, it's about your quality of life. It's about peace, and that's when something changes. Not when you read another blog or download another budgeting app, but when you get asterisk mad asterisk. Mad at the system that taught you debt was normal. Mad at the habits that keep you stuck. Mad at the cycle that says poverty is your destiny. That anger isn't weakness, it's fuel. You can't tiptoe out of poverty. You can't wish your way out of being broke. You've got to fight. You've got to get focused, fired up, and willing to make decisions most people won't. Because most people aren't free. Most people are drowning in payments, pretending everything's fine, living for the weekend. But not you. You've decided you're done with just surviving. You're ready to reclaim control, even if it means sacrifice, even if it means doing what others won't understand. That fire, that intensity is what gets you moving. When you stop seeing poverty as just the way things are, and start seeing it as the enemy, everything shifts. You start waking up earlier, you take on extra work, you build a budget and actually stick to it. You stop trying to impress people and start trying to impress your future. That's when real progress begins, when you stop playing defense and start playing offense with your money. It's not about how much you make, it's about how focused you are. Plenty of people make six figures and are still broke because they never made a plan. Meanwhile, someone making far less is stacking savings and crushing debt because they're laser, focused on their goals. That focus doesn't come from comfort, it comes from a decision to stop letting life happen to you and start happening to your life. Poverty wants you passive. It wants you to believe this is just how things are. But the truth is, poverty is not your home, it's just where you've been staying. You don't owe it loyalty. You don't owe it another year of your life. You can leave, but not with excuses and not with apathy. You leave with action, intensity, and a deep, relentless commitment to doing what's necessary. This isn't about shame. It's not about comparing yourself to others. It's about owning your story. You may not be where you want to be, but you don't have to stay there. And the day you get serious, truly serious about never being broke again is the day everything starts to change. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger, you got intentional, you got focused. And you finally decided, this ends with me.